Yo, what is up, guys? Shinobi here, back again with another reaction video for you guys. And today we're talking about apparently why Withering Waves should remove the 50/50 system. And honestly, this video should be just titled "Why Gotcha Games Should Remove the 50/50 System" in general. Because I'm gonna be real with y'all, if I think back to older Gotcha games, yeah, they were predatory, like Naruto Ninja Blazing and all that. But as far as I remember, hell, even games like Soccer Spirits that I remember vividly. As far as I remember, when they did add the feature where you could get a character, because Soccer Spirits had this feature where you could summon it and you had a high chance of getting the character, but there was no other, like, you weren't going to get something else. And then they have another feature with the legendary characters where it's like, okay, you summon on this, you automatically get it. Like, there is no 50/50 system. I don't know about Summoner's War. Summoner's War is kind of all random, I'm going to be real with y'all. But as far as the 50/50 system, this all, came from Genshin, which was the originator of how Gacha got into the mainstream. Like, you got to give them that. It's the reason why all these games are copying them in the first place, which is also a reason why a lot of people are hard on it, especially now, is because a lot of people are, it's like the Fortnite of Gacha. They're like, yo, if we're going to make money, we need to do what they're doing. That's why we're so hard on it, is because we know that other businesses and other people coming out with these games are copying this model. But I digress. I feel like that, honestly, you don't even need to remove the 50/50 system, and then I might sound crazy, but to not remove it, but your first 90 pulls that you pull on a character banner should guarantee the character at least once. And then if you want to get any other copies, then it'll be a 50/50. I feel like that's the way to go. And you would probably think, oh, wouldn't that make the game cost less because people wouldn't summon as much? Maybe, but there's always whales. We see it all the time, especially with content creators and the people trying to flex, because there's always somebody who's going to try and flex. And there's going to be other people who try to flex back. There's always going to be whales in a game like these. We've seen it. We have seen it in every gacha game that has had this 50/50 system, bro. We have seen it. There's always going to be that guy flexing his C6 Malvika or C6 Raiden Shogun, whatever it may be. For Honkai Star Rail, same thing. So it's not like they can't do the 50/50 system, but the first 90 pulls that they put in the game, especially since majority of the time for Genshin Impact specifically, they don't put in enough pulls before you get the character, guaranteed anyways, right now. I feel like the first 90 to 80 pulls should be guaranteed, whether it be on the weapon banner or the freaking, what do you call it, or the character banner. In fact, honestly, I feel like with the weapon banner in general, you should just get the weapon. I'm going to be real with it. Withering Waves got it right. But if you're going to keep the 50/50 system in the game, I feel like the only way to fix it is to allow the first 90 pulls to guarantee the character that's shown on the banner. And then if you want dupes, if you want duplicates, then go ahead and have that 50/50 system. It's the only way I can think of currently that would balance it. Because the way it is right now, you basically have a 50/50 shot of wasting your money. It's basically gambling at this point. Because you're not guaranteed the character. You're not guaranteed. You have a high chance, but you ain't guaranteed. But I digress. I want to see what this guy talks about. Because, yeah, I do agree the 50/50 system either needs to be taken out entirely or they need to change it.
Are you complaining now all of a sudden? Well, because times are changing. And I want these games to adapt with the times. And that's my fear for all these games. That's why I'm afraid for Withering Waves, and I need them to change the system ASAP. These gacha games companies know
change
this was a long time coming.
way that you're able to get echo material.
The gacha space has no shortage of gacha systems, as in the banners. There's obviously a lot of RNG. Everything in gacha games typically is RNG. How much you're gonna crit is RNG, etc. Like, there's so much RNG. What you're gonna roll, the substats, everything is RNG. RNG everywhere. That's gacha, right? So basically, players have always been shouting on reducing RNG, and I feel like that's the topic for another time. But today I want to focus on one that's always been present, and we just was like, oh, that's just the way it works. We just took it like it is, because especially if you're someone like me that started with Genshin Impact as your first gacha game,
who did
video game.
Well, it wasn't my first gacha game, but first mainstream one. I think I was playing Soccer Spirits, Summoner's War, and Naruto Blazing before that.
Genshin Impact was my first introduction. Went on to Honkai Star Rail, ZZ, and Withering Waves. and they all share basically the same gacha system. I still haven't played a gacha game that shared a difference. I guess Tower of Fantasy, if you want to count that. But
Tower
I'm most familiar with what we all know
I
as
don't know,
the
man.
50-50 system. Now, the 50-50 system, because
It was
of
all
our
right,
introduction
but
to Genshin Impact, that was like
shit,
our
they hyped
gateway
the
to
hell out
gacha,
of that
that's
game
all
as
we
the
know.
Gotcha killer. The
We just
Genshin
took
killer
it as
did
is.
not.
As it, oh, that's just the way things are. Oh, that's just the way it is. But it's not. And that's what I want to talk about today. A game I'm pretty hyped up currently about is Do It Night Abyss. I do feel like this game has a lot of potential. This will change a lot of things. And one of the things I immediately saw that just screams through your face is when you go to their limited banner, the character limited banner, not the weapon limited banner, the character limited banner, well, it has a 100% chance to drop the character you want, meaning there is no 50-50.
Now, while that is all good and all, what are we talking as far as anybody? If anybody knows anything about this game, he's talking about how many pulls do you need to get that 100% drop rate boost? Because that's a good step in the right direction. If their banners like was, and you only have to summon up to 70 times to get that featured character, and it's even better if there's no 50-50 after that. That's even better. So somebody let me know how that goes. Because if that's good, if that's how they're doing it, if it's like Wuwa where you only got to drop like 70 to 80 pulls to get the character and it's 100% drop rate, and let alone their weapon banner, if it's the same way, that's literally a perfect system at that point. Sure, it might not make as much money, but even then, that's not even true either because people are still going to go for dupes. Once again, people are going to go for dupes. So what, like, once again, there's always that argument that I have where it's like, you can put the 50-50 system in the game by just having it to where the first 90 to 80 pulls, depending on what game it is, or 70 pulls, is guaranteed no matter what. You're going to get the character, you're going to get the weapon. The weapon banner, honestly, got saved by Tecton because he dropped like 130 million on the freaking Staff of Homa and got nothing out of it. If you like, I feel like either you take it out completely, or if you're gonna do it, the only way to make it to where at least you have one copy of the character or weapon is to make it to where the first 90 to 80 pulls is guaranteed no matter what. That's the only way.
System. So it is possible for these games to have a 100% guarantee on the characters too, because
that might be the way that people advertise for their games next. I'm gonna be real.
Not the thing
they might be like, hey,
about. And I do
you
feel
know what's
like
different about our game
in agreement. Like,
compared
you
to
can
yours?
always make do with
all of our stuff is
100%
guaranteed.
It's always
no 50-50.
The 5-star weapon is
that might be the next
like
meta.
Big PP check,
which would be really good actually. All you're saying
damage, or if the character is your favorite, then you just wanna, you know what? It's my favorite character. I want it to be the best I can whenever I see them on the field. I want them to be the best they can be.
Yeah, no, there's always going to be whales.
Invest extra hard in it. That's basically what...
Like, even if they were to remove the 50-50 system, there's always going to be that person who's going to want to C6 max out their character or weapon. There's always going to be whales. It's just that the whales will have to spend less. That's the only difference. That's literally the only difference, is the whales will have to spend less money trying to get their character to C6. Whether, with, I can't talk right now, where if you were to keep the 50-50 system, they could lose their 50-50, 50-50, making them spend more money. That's the only difference between taking it out and leaving it in. And me personally, I feel like that if they want to keep it in, the only way to do it without it feel like you're just gambling your money away and just basically wasting your time is to basically have it to where the first pull is guaranteed, and then after that, if they want Eldeon's Eldeon's or dupes of their character or weapon, whatever it may be, then it's 50-50. Or you could be like Wuthering Waves and basically say, hey, weapon banner guaranteed no matter what. We're just going to take that out.
Weapons from a casual perspective, from what I've observed and from myself personally and other players, I've met a lot of these players, and I think they're the majority. Typically, people can't afford, especially free-to players, they can't afford the luxury of having both the character and the weapon, except if they save for longer periods of time. But again, that's a topic for another time. So first, let's establish
honestly, I'm gonna be real. 50-50 I go for the character first, and then on the rerun, I get their weapon.
Of course, you mostly want the 5.
That's how I do
4
it.
4 stars, I feel like I'm more of a scam than a 5-star, but again, that's a topic for another time. That's like banner structure. I guess that's a whole other topic. So 5 stars. You have less than 1% chance to get the 5-star that's in the banner. Okay, any 5-star typically. However, you have pity, and once you reach pity, that percentage increases, and then you reach hard pity, it becomes 100%. That's how you obtain a 5-star. Now, In other games, like for example, ZZ the Bank Booze, that banner has more than a 1% chance to get a 5-star early. And I've noticed quite a high level of earlies in the ZZZ Bang Boo banner.
He ain't lying. I got Evelyn early. Like the newer character that just came out, I got her early too. Like I was really surprised. Like I got 2 of the newer 5-star characters. One of them being one of the best supports in the game, and the other one also being a really good DPS. Really, really early. I think I got Evelyn within 20 pulls, which really surprised me. And I didn't even look at their weapon banner or their freaking character banner to see what the percentage rates are. So that if that's true, that they got like a thing where he's like early, then that's impressive.
Than
50-50 is still there though,
Gachas,
so
which tells me
that
just
still
how
sucks.
powerful this
But
percentage
that's
is. And of
impressive
course,
they're
this
doing
percentage,
that.
I'm bringing this up, the ZZZ, because I do feel like also this percentage should be tackled in the future. I think Arknight's Enfield is increasing the chances of earlies, like from maybe 0 to, I think they were like 1 point something. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's definitely present in the weapon banner, but maybe that's a formula for another time. But first, this is the first gateway for you to getting what you want. The minus 1% chance for you to get an earth, right? Next, once you reach pity, well, here we go. The 50-50 system. You flip a coin. If you get it right, you get what you want. If you get it wrong, you don't get it. Now, let's talk about the pros of 50-50. What's good?
I'm gonna be real. The only pros you're getting out of 50-50s is if you're an absolute masochist and love losing and all that, or if you enjoy watching people's reactions on YouTube of them pulling for a character and they lose their 50-50. That's the only thing I can think of. Other than that, you gain nothing from it. Like outside of content on YouTube, you gain nothing from it. Especially if you're putting money into the game, you should be when you put money into something, you should be guaranteed to get the product that you're paying for. It shouldn't be a thing where it's like, oh, you only have a chance to get it. Because at that point, you're just gambling. That's how I see it. Which is why I said if they want to keep the 50-50 in the game, then to have it to where the first 90, 80 pulls, like the first time you pull and get to that hard pity, it should guarantee the character or weapon no matter what. In fact, honestly, I think they should take it out entirely. But if they want to keep it in, that's the system. I think that's the way I would do it. Is I'm going to keep 50-50 systems in my game. I'm going to make it guaranteed that the first character in the game is going to be a guarantee. The first time you get your hard pity or early pity. Guaranteed. And after that, then if you want to go for 50-50s or Eldions, then you can go 50-50 and throw that in there if you want to do that. But me personally, I'd rather just take it out entirely because, once again, people put money into these games, and I feel like if people are putting money into these games, then they should be guaranteed the product that they're paying for. That's how I do it. But, gotchas be gotching,
Good about the 50-50, man. What's good? What's good? Well, for me, it's always seeing creators lose their shit. Nothing beats a creator losing their 50-50, man.
The 8th time! The 8th time!
Also, I'm going to be feeling... I'm going to be real. Even watching people pull sometimes gets boring. It really depends on if they're entertaining or not. Like, Tecton's entertaining to watch when he does this. And I remember he went on a streak when he's in his free-to-play mode on Honkai Star Rail. He went 7 times in a row without losing a 50-50, bro. I was going on a long streak myself. And then I lost my 50-50 to Welt.
50-50 champion! 8 time!
Yeah, I remember this.
50-50
I forgot.
champ!
Didn't he get, like, Himiko right here? Nope, by a little bit. Damn. Yep, I remember that. I remember that. Yeah, that was a good time. That was a funny time, bro.
Here we go!
Oh, this is the weapon banner. I can already tell.
Swear to fucking God!
The staff of... Yeah. 130 million dollars gone, bro. If he had never done that, we would still be dealing with that system in Genshin Impact to this day, man. He saved the hell out of that game. That's the only thing that game has saved as far as that. As far as summoning goes, that's the only thing that was saved is the weapon banner, bro. Now we need somebody to go onto the character banner, spend 130 million and just keep getting your 50-50 and losing. So we can just get it guaranteed. 130 mil. He got 2 of those. No staff of
That is
Homo.
awesome. Like, the level of entertainment
No staff of
50-50
Homo, man.
brings
That was terrible.
in terms of content is bar to none. That's my favorite shit. Like, watching creators go crazy That's my favorite shit. But beyond that, it doesn't really offer anything but no, tough luck. You didn't get what you want. But if you spend more, or if you finally spend because of all the already investment you made in the sunk cost
Yep,
fallacy,
sunk cost fallacy. Yep.
well, you can now finally get what you want. Also, let's say, for example, you're planning to get every single character. Like, say, I lose this 50-50. I just can't get the necessary resources to get this character now, but I'm just gonna get the character later. That was literally a waste of resources.
Yeah.
You wasted resources for something you didn't even want. No one asked me to get this. I'm pulling for this banner because I want this specifically. I don't want something else.
And that's once again why I say the 50-50 should be removed, is because, in my opinion, you're spending money on a game, especially the whales. And if you're spending money, then the game should respect your time enough to give you what you paid for, which is the character. Because it's already bad enough that the technically stuff that you're buying in the game, it doesn't even out, or like there's no actual price on it, so it's not even telling you how many pulls you're gonna get out of it. It's just, oh, pay $29.99 for this many gems, not telling you how many pulls you're gonna get out of it or anything like that. It's implied, but that's not telling you anything, which is the predatory portion about it. Now, another argument that people like to make is that, oh, sometimes when they get a standard banner character, well, it's fine if I get a standard banner, because maybe, this is a good opportunity to play with other characters that from the beginning, or to get duplicates. But the problem is A, you're not going to get, there's a chance that you won't get the standard character that you want. And B, once again, going back to my previous point, you should just be able to go to the standard banner and get that character. You shouldn't have to lose a 50-50 to get it. Like, that is a really backwards way of thinking.
That's not. Say, for example, I even pay money. I'm like 10 pulls short from my pity. I pay $10. I don't get what I want. That doesn't work. That's a casino. That's a scam. What are we doing out here?
And even if you don't spend money, let's say you spend all your time in the game getting these pulls so that you can get your favorite character, and then you don't get it. You still wasted your time, which is also valuable. Time is a valuable currency because you cannot get that back. The time that you put into something, you cannot get that back, man. That's why I stress a lot that if a game is not doing what you like, don't force yourself to play it, and especially if it isn't respecting your time, then to move on. Move on. Don't ignore the sunk cost fallacy. Enjoy the memories you had with the game, whether you were spending money or not, and move on. Just gotta call it as a loss, because let's be real. If you were spending that kind of money in the game and you should have been spending it on something else, that's just a whole nother problem in general. But if it's just play money that you're throwing into the game, and, the game isn't respecting your time at all, or whatever it may be, just move on. Just move on. Enjoy the times that you had with the game and the memories that you had with the game, but move on. It's just going to be healthier for you overall than to just throwing money at something that's not A, respecting your time, and B, giving you what you want.
I feel like this is definitely a conversation now because of Wuwa's weapon banner, and now Do It Night Abyss 100% chance.
It's definitely a conversation.
This is why we should have this
Wuwa
conversation
literally
right
started
so
the trend of,
I know
shit,
this has always been
I don't got to waste a bunch of money to get what I want.
Like, why are you complaining
I can actually get the weapon
and I want these
that
games
I
to adapt
want.
to the times.
Not only if they were to do that with characters.
My fear for all these games. That's why I'm afraid for Withering Waves, and I need them to change the system ASAP. Because if we become compliant and become like Genshin Impact, where we're like, oh, my dick is big as shit, like they'll always keep suckling on it because I'm him. Well, you're gonna have people like me that are gonna look at you and go, yeah, I like this game, but this shit right here is pushing me away, man. You got motherfuckers right here doing 100% characters and everything. I'm not staying here.
Like, if Wuwa was to go ahead and be like, you know what, let's just 100% let everybody be able to get the character no matter what. Same as our weapon banner. If they were to do that, oh my god, bro, the amount of people that would switch from Genshin over to freaking Wuwa would be insanity. Because at that point, what's your excuse? You're basically guaranteed the character when you put money in the game. You're basically guaranteed everything at that point because it's the weapon banner and the character banner. The weapon banner is already guaranteed if you to go all the way in. But then you're telling me if they were to go ahead and put the characters and did the same thing, that people wouldn't just automatically switch over? Bro, are you kidding me? Man.
So the 50-50 ultimately is a barrier that doesn't even offer anything but get in your way of getting the enjoyment you want out of the game.
Yeah.
It makes them more money. True. That's the main reason.
That's the main reason it's even there.
Also, creators losing their shit. But beyond that, there is no other benefit from the 50-50. Nothing. 2.2 has released like a lot of characters. Like we've seen a lot of characters for 2.2. I think people are going crazy over the jellyfish girl. A lot of people, I think the tweet for the drip marketing has broken records. Go Wuthering Waves. I'm happy to see that.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to have to look at that.
One gotta admit, since the introduction of Renacita, pressure on your polls has been high. It is high, man. It's tough to keep up with all this. So yes, you have a new region. Yes, you can explore. Yes, you can get a lot of pulls for free, etc., etc. It's not enough to get everything, and nor should you be able to get everything. I know this is the nature of Gacha.
Yeah, I mean they gotta make their money somehow.
Why not?
Yeah, I must say yeah.
There's
better ways.
Why is that a thing? Why not?
Like there's better ways to make money than to make your players gamble on if they can get what they want or not. Like put skins in the game. We know that you guys have art out there. This is like what I be talking about with Epic 7. It's like, why are we out here doing all this dumb stuff with the game and making people spend money on packs for gear that's probably not going to be that good to use, or at least not that crazy to use in the PvP mode, when you could be putting money into making skins for your game, making merchandise. There's healthy ways to get money in the game. People, literally, there are people out there who will be asking for this kind of stuff, where it's like, bro, why is it there that many, where's the merch at for, Epic 7? Where's the skins at? Like, why ain't we getting none of that? Genshin Impact, they at least have skins, but even then I feel like that instead of the 50-50 system, they could be making more skins for some of these characters. Merchandise, they got merchandise down. That's one thing that I can say that Genshin has, is they got merchandise. That's not an issue at all. But honestly, I don't know how much money they're making based on their merchandise versus their, weapon banners. I think the weapon banners easily sweep right now. Or not even right now, they've been sweeping the weapon banner or the character banner. But either way, it's like, what are we doing? What are we doing, man? There are healthy ways for your game, especially if it's a gacha, to stay alive. It's just that they don't want to do it. They want to take the easy road out, which is, hey, let's just make our players gamble. Because the human mindset of maybe there's a chance, there's a 50% chance, it could happen. That's what they prey on. That's what they prey on. It's the same thing with gambling in real life. Where it's like, there's that 1% chance I can hit the lottery, and that's why people do it. Literally that's shining hope. They prey on your hope that you're going to get it. That's why it's there. And then you throw the 50-50 system in there, and yeah. The only difference, though, is with real life, at least, if you were to win some money back, or if you were to win, at least you can do something with it. Once this game goes into service, Genshin Impact or any of these gacha games, you get nothing out of it. You don't all that value you put into the game, outside of the memories you made and outside of the fun times you had, and unless you're a content creator specifically, all that money you thrown into the game, gone. We all know everything's got to end one day. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing lasts forever, but I digress.
Say I get a pass, a monthly pass. That's like what, 30 pulls per month, right? That's like 30 pulls. That's half. And then I keep grinding, right? There's events, stuff like that. Like I can get 50 to 60 pulls per patch. I can get a copy. I'm not even getting the SIG. I can get a copy. I can guarantee myself a copy if I put $5 a month on this game.
Yeah, which isn't
why not?
bad.
Why is that the rule of thumb? Like I'm confused. Think about it yearly. So in a year, I've already spent $60. If I play this game for a year and I pay $5 every month, well, that's $60. And
then you combine that with all, like, if you take Genshin's active player base, if let's say their banners were guaranteed, right? Let's say their banners were guaranteed no matter what. Even with that, people would still buy the Battle Pass. People would still buy the Welkin. People would still go ahead and we'd C6 their characters. You're still making money from your merchandise. You're still making money from your YouTube channel because you're just that popular. Like, you're not really losing out on that much. The only thing that's happening here is that the CEO is probably not just going to be buying their 6th and 1000th yacht. And even then, they still might be able to do that with the amount of player base that they got. Because once again, people will just sometimes spend money in the game just to spend money in the game. The only difference between having a 50-50 chance and not having a 50-50 chance is just that less money is going to be spent on the banners. And once again, if they wanted to keep it in the game, you could just make your first 90 to 80 pulls guaranteed, so that players are guaranteed to get the character, so at least they'll have one copy. And then if they want more copies, then it'd be like, okay, now you gotta pay extra. You know, maybe you'll lose your 50-50, you know. And at that point, then you let the players decide whether they want that or not. Now, this could become a problem if they were predatory and end up making players' kits lock behind those Eldions, or whether it be locked behind the extra copies. It could be predatory. I can definitely see that. But if they don't do that, then that's, in my opinion, would make the system way better. It would make the system way better.
The price of a AAA title back in the day. Now, them pictures are changing. But that's literally it. If $5 a month can guarantee you a character, well, technically not even, but you know what I'm trying to say, especially if they give you free stuff. Why not? Why should not that be the standard? You can do that for weapons, though. You can definitely do that. Why can't I do that for characters, too? I feel like this system doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
It's literally there just to say, whoops, tough luck. It's irritating. It makes it so that, for example, I'm looking at myself going, okay, I want to get brands. I do. I think brand is cool. A lot of people are trash talking. I'm not into spreadsheeting anymore. I go about my gachas different. I'm kind of sweaty in Honkai Star Rail as it requires me to be so, and I have a lot of investment already. Wuwa, I'm casual, normal. And ZZZ, I'm extra casual. And I'm having the experience.
But ZZZ is like the one game out of Hoyo versus games, at least so far, that feels like I can be hella casual with that game and I don't care. Like, it feels good to be casual. It doesn't feel terrible. Like, you can just do whatever in that game, you're fine. Like, it's the definition of just hop in the game and have fun. If you see a character you like, boom, get it. I know there's a meta when it comes to in-game content. There's always going to be a meta for power and whatnot. But from what I've seen, you can hop into that game, play any character you want. And as long as you've invested your time into these characters, not even Eldions or copies, you're fine. You don't need to do all that. It feels like it's the one game out of Hoyo versus games right now that's not being predatory like crazy, outside of obviously the 50-50 systems. Like, what are we doing out here? The whole purpose of a game is supposed to be have fun. We shouldn't be stressing about if we're going to get the character or the thing that we paid for, especially if you're paying money in the game. Like, what are we doing? Now, Honkai Star Rail is also falling down that trap because obviously, you know, they're locking the most important part of the characters behind their S1 or their C1. So that's an issue. And then don't get me started on MOC 10 right now. I beat it recently, but oh my god, it was a pain to do so. I only did it with 4 cycles left. And hilariously enough, the cycle after that, which would be MOC 11, was easier than it was for MOC 10. Like, what are we doing? And then Withering Waves is just fun, man. That game, they did such a good job with it. The only thing that I would say is that they need to fix a couple of things, like the echoes. Leveling them up kind of feels weird because they don't give out the materials as easily, and you gotta spend your currency as far as in-game to get it. But if they were to make it to where you could just go around and get it by, you know, running around in the overworld like you would do with the echoes, good. And as for the 50-50 system, if they want to keep it, I would say make it to where your first 90 pulls, once again, guaranteed. But if you want dupes, then throw it in. That's how I would do it. If I was to keep the 50-50 system in. Me personally, I would just take it out entirely. Set the new standard. Like, hey, we ain't doing none of that anymore. You're going to get what you pay for. And the game's going to be fun. But that's just me.
Of every type of player so that I can resonate with my audience the best. So if you're extra sweaty, I understand you. If you're casual, I understand you. If you're extra casual, I understand you. I'm all of these 3 things. So as a casual, when I look even if you're sweaty. I mean, it doesn't change the fact of rewards in terms of the premium currency. As a free-to-play player, to be specific, it's tough to plan ahead nowadays, and especially when all the characters you see can bring value to your account. BB came out. She's the character that introduces Spectrofrazzle. There's reactions coming. I want to take advantage of the Spectral reaction because Jinsei can't. I want to use the Spectral reaction. You need a specific character to proc that specific reaction. You can't just use any two Spectrals. Well, you can use the Rover, but let's face it, why would you? Especially when you have Phoebe as cute as she is.
Hey, I'm gonna be real with y'all. I'm using Rover throughout the whole game. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. She's staying on the team. She is staying on the team, at least for me. But Rover is staying on the team, brother. She is staying on the team. I don't care who the other two I pair them up with it goes. But as far as her, she's staying on the team, at least for me, bro. I don't care. We're soloing the whole game. The whole game.
Available. Also, I wanted to make the statement that just because a bitch doesn't show skin doesn't mean I won't pull for it. All right? A character should just be respectable, and a kick-ass, badass character, or even a sweet character, whatever, is something that resonates, I'll pull. It doesn't have to be, naked. Looking at...
Oh, that's another thing. At least for me, it feels like Withering Waves, unless you're, like, really hardcore spreadsheeting, there's no real meta for that game. Like, you just play who you want. And ZZZ's the same way. Like, you just play who you want and you have fun. Like, you don't gotta have specific team loadouts. You don't gotta do all that crazy nonsense. Obviously, if you want to do endgame content, there's probably specific characters that do better. But it feels like in those games, you don't need to do all that. Especially with Withering Waves and Zenless Zone Zero. If you know how to switch your characters out to parry in Zenless Zone Zero, you're good. If you know how to dodge properly and freaking parry properly in Withering Waves, it don't matter what character you got, you're good. There's some characters that gotta make it easier than others, but that's just damage at the end of the day. The main portion of that game is knowing how to parry and dodge. That's like the most important thing. And then obviously switching in and out, doing the, character animations. Like, other than that, there's not really a meta. Like, I've never really seen a bunch of videos talking about meta as far as, that goes, which is why you don't really hear a lot of things talking about power creep. There was some speculation that Phobie was going to power creep Jinsei, but then as people started playing her more, they just realized she's a really fun character overall. She hits like a truck, but she's not out here making Jinsei look like she's, basically useless.
There's Brand, there's the Jellyfish, there's Zanny, there's all these amazing characters. The one thing that I keep scratching my head and makes me anxious, it triggers anxiety. Remember what Genshin said? Don't want to bring you anxiety. Them bitches still have the
for endgame, which is
the
insane.
weapon system. Jesus, and they don't
want. They want to talk about endgame bringing them anxiety, bro. I'm gonna be real. Spiral Abyss can be beaten, and you don't gotta try. It's not hard. Now your 50-50s when you gotta go and summon for your character, bro. You gotta lock in because if you don't get it, you're cooked.
You get anxiety. Liars. I'm looking in the future, going, can I win all these 50-50s? Can I win all these coin flips? Because I can't afford all them bitches. So,
unless you're like somebody that got a lot of money.
I'm feeling being pushed away from the game because of this very mechanic. Because I can't keep up. There's no way I can keep up as a free-to-play. There's no way. I got the monthly pass. And it's still not enough. Isn't that crazy? Do you want to know why it's not enough? Because of the 50-50 system. I'm very hopeful for the future of Gacha, for games like Do It Not Abyss, maybe Ananta in the future, that can introduce brand new systems that can expand and make Gacha less expensive. I want to bring up Warframe since we're bringing up Do It Not Abyss. I want to bring up Warframe. In the game of Warframe, a character costs $50. You get the character and the SIG with $50. That's a live service game, big as shit, one of the best communities. I'm loving Warframe, not the game, but the community. Because I still haven't played the game, but I got so much information through the community, and boy, oh boy, are these guys amazing. So,
70
Warframe,
pulls.
there's no Gacha,
$70.
and they're still making a lot of money, and that game came out years ago, and I do mean a decade ago, like 10 years ago.
Honestly, that system would probably be better than what we got right now for the current Gacha games. Just pay for the character outright. Be like, okay, this is what the character does. This is what they have at base, and you can farm their, basically, you can farm their dupes. that sounds better than stressing about if you aren't going to get the character at all. And plus, when you spend your money in the game, you're actually going to get what you paid for. Versus with these 50-50 systems, you are risking a chance that even if you pay the money to be able to get to that point where you get the hard pity, you still have to risk losing a 50-50 to a character that you didn't even want in the first place. Like, I'd actually prefer what Warform is doing, if that's what they're doing, where when they release a new character, you just pay for it and that's it. You got the character. I'd rather do that than what we got right now. That's actually a better system. That's better than... I'll take it back. Screw the 50-50 system. I'd prefer it more if Withering Waves just took out the summoning system entirely and said, hey, here's our new characters. This is how much they cost. You're guaranteed to get it if you pay for it. And you can farm the frickin' extra copies if you want. You can farm the materials to get your extra Eidolons, C1, C6, all that. That would solve a lot of problems because the company, A, will still make money because people are going to buy these characters. And then on top of that, it also solves the problem of, okay, how are we going to get our dupes? Like, that just kills two problems in one. And then on top of that, the customer is happy because they're getting what they paid for. Like, it's a GG's all around for everything. Like, it just, they should be doing that, honestly. That sounds good.
It's a model that works. Why can't we do it like them? I think Do It Not Abyss is copying Warframe, even in the live service stuff, as in the gacha and how they want to monetize their game. Do it like them. Do it like them. I feel like Genshin Impact got away with the 50-50 system, made it a standard, and now Hoyo just implements that standard, / now Withering Waves also followed suit. Withering Waves tells me because of the weapon system.
Hoyoverse got lucky because they were the game that ended up popping off during that point in time. It could have been any game. It could have literally been any gacha game. They were in the perfect storm. Everybody locked inside the rooms because of the pandemic, and you know they had nothing to do. You know, so they was like, "Hey, Genshin Impact game looks fun," and then as more and more people started playing it, it just popped off. That could have been any gacha game, and because they were the ones who popped off with their 50-50 system, now everybody's copying it. It's the Fortnite, bro. With the battle, it's the battle royale all over again. Fortnite, Perfect Storm came out with a game that was really unique, got popular, and now everybody and their mom in the AAA space is out here trying to create a battle royale. Same thing.
System. They tell me they are flexible, and I'm pretty sure they can introduce 100% in the character ban. For me, I feel I'm tired of seeing people going, well, there goes my character, there goes this, and you can. I've seen a lot of people quit gacha because
it feels bad.
System. People not getting what they want. They save up for a long time. It's tough. It's free to play. It's hard. And finally, the character comes. Whoops! You lost a coin toss. Do you know how hard that is? Because it's a 50-50 chance.
You're
just unlucky. Period. There was no skill, no nothing. You're just unlucky. Done. End of the story. Go away. I don't think that should.
And we got your money.
I don't think this sentiment of this anxiousness of going, oh, how am I gonna do this? I have to skip this. I just want a dude. I just want to pull for a dude, man. I don't need Brent like that. I just want a dude. I haven't pulled in a dude for so long. Man.
Brian, the Withering Waves community, especially recently, has been asking for a lot more male characters. They really have. They really have. Like, I feel like Withering Waves is the one community, or at least one of the few communities, where it's like not just waifu centric. Like, the male characters look good, the female characters look good. You know, everybody wants kind of like an equal base of, hey, I know we got all these hot female characters and they look good, but where are the males at? Like, where are the husbandos, as they would call
them? Can I see a big ass Chad in my account other than Gian? Jesus, like, man. Now I gotta save for bitches again. Like, I'm always gonna be saving for bitches, but let me get this too. So, in conclusion, as monetarily incentive this is, I do feel like people can always spend if they can get what they want. Free players are not gonna.
And once again, the whales are gonna whale. You can't even say that the whales would stop whaling if they did this system, because they're gonna do their C6 regardless if there's a 50-50 system or not. If anything, it just makes it easier for them to do their whaling, but that's all it does. You're still gonna get your money regardless. Like, come on, man.
spend anyway.
And that's on the weapon banner
so
and
basically
on
you're
the
having
character
this system
banner.
for whales to, squeeze them more. I understand, but those guys are gonna be spending anyway. Why, like, oh, gotta squeeze every bit of it.
They gotta split. They gotta get every piece of money they can
Throwing us
get
away
out.
too. The cost is too high for you to get the maximum of those guys. The cost is high for the rest of us.
I'm about to say, yeah, no, there's never gonna be a day I see 6 a character unless I get really lucky. Never. The highest I will ever get a character at best is probably to C2 or C3 if I get lucky. If I get unlucky and I just keep losing 50-50s. In fact, that's the only reason I have a C2 welt on Honkai Star Rail, is because I got unlucky and I ended up pulling him 3 different times. I've lost my 50-50 to Japard twice. I've lost my 50-50 to Welt 3 times and once to Yangqing. And twice to Bailu. But outside of that, everybody else is C1. In fact, I got Bronya actually, hilariously enough, luckily, to C1 off of like a single pull from the standard banner, which was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, there's no way.
So I would invite this system to go away. I heard
I think
this
it's
from
dead.
Tectone, of course. He mentioned it once or twice. And also, what really drove me over the edge, and I wanted to make this video for a long time, is
I mean, it's been
I tried
dead,
to go
but
back to ZZZ. There was Astra Yao, and I was very excited.
Got her early.
I try to get her. I lose the 50-50. Now like I said before, ZZZ is a game where I'm extra casual. And I go back from time to time. Like sometimes I would stop for months before coming back. I go back, I try to get her, I lose the 50-50. All of a sudden, my desire to keep playing ZZZ just almost completely vanished.
Yeah, it does drop.
That's a system that basically said, no, don't play the game. I don't think you want that system in the game.
It's the reason why I stopped playing Genshin as much. Is like the more, and I like Genshin. I'm hella casual. Like I'm, sheesh. Like I don't do the spreadsheets. I don't do none of that. And it's like, it feels bad. Like I've been lucky. I will say this. As far as my luck when it comes to Genshin Impact, I have been lucky to get the characters and the weapon banners the way that I have. Like I've been really lucky to be able to get the stuff that I have in this game. Like I have, when I used to live stream the game, man, if you had seen some of the dumb pulls that I'd be getting, like Raiden Shogun, and then I get her weapon off of one pull, or I'll get Kazuha and then I'll get his C1 right after that. It's like, bro, I was like, bro, do I need to go to the lottery and just pull a ticket now at this point? Like, I got hella lucky, and I'm grateful that I got lucky to the point where I was able to get the characters that I do. But at the same time, it's like, why should that be the case, you know? Why should I have to stress about getting these characters that I'm putting my time and effort to getting? Like, it doesn't make sense. I shouldn't be even saying what I'm saying right now, being like, oh, I got hella lucky. I should be just saying that I got the character. You know, no issues. I got what I, saved up for. You know?
But that's just me, though. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think this 50-50 system
great video.
should remain so that we can point and laugh at our creators when they lose their 50-50? Or keep it because the dopamine rush?
The dopamine rush, yeah, right. Nah, I'm good.
When you win the 50.
I'm good on that. Great video. I agree that, once again, the 50-50 system should just be removed outright. People spend a lot of time and money in these gacha games, especially since they became mainstream. And a lot of these gacha games have full-blown stories that you could honestly... A AAA studio would make this game $100+ if they were to make some stories as much. Like, you could probably make... If you were to put these games into the AAA space and have them not be gacha games and just have all the story and all the characters into them, but these games would be worth hundreds of dollars, man. Hundreds, if not thousands of dollars with all the characters that they put in, with all the stories that are in here, and especially being able to play all the characters, man. Like, these games would be worth a lot of money if they were in the AAA space. Like, I'm talking if Genshin Impact was made, not being a gacha, but just being a single-player focused game. Or hell, even if they did have PvP and you could play with all the characters and you didn't have to summon for the characters. All the stories, all the adventures, hell, just the regions in general. Like, you would have to make... the game probably wouldn't even be out right now if they were to do that. If they were to make it a AAA game. But I digress. I feel like the 50-50 system should be taken out completely. You should be able to get what you paid for, saved up for, or if they're gonna keep it, I think that hey, if you want to squeeze your money out of your whales or anything like that, fine, leave it in, but leave it to where your first 90 pulls, you're guaranteed to get your character no matter what, guaranteed. And then after that, if you want to go for your C6 and all that, then you can have it. That's the only other way I see it staying in. Otherwise, just take it out entirely. That's what I would do. But I want to know what you guys think down below. Leave a comment down below. Subscribe to the channel. All that. I'll leave his video in the description as well. Great video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.